Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So you know that I've had some experience doing this. There's a lot of coaches out there that have learned how to do some coaching, but I've done all the things that I'm helping my clients with. So real briefly, I went to Worcester Polytech, so I've got a bit of an engineering perspective on things and processes and systems. Got into photocopier sales, and then worked with a solar manufacturer back in the early and mid 80s, helped them set up a national dealer network, worked with sales and service, also developed national accounts. So I was involved in hundreds of commercial and residential design build projects, and that's an important part of my history. So I've learned how to deal with and sell and install complex projects with a lot of moving pieces. And back in 1992, I started a company called Sebago Energy Conservation. So it was a solo startup up in Maine. I did large commercial and industrial energy conservation projects. Moving over the next few years, I opened up offices in Connecticut and Florida, and I had projects and installations going on in over 20 states. So, working with accounts like International Paper and General Electric and UPS, Sears, Blue Cross, just tons of supermarkets, over 1,000 schools. So, I had a real great success with that business for a couple decades. In parallel with that, I began doing consulting back in 2001 and helping other business owners learn how to grow and scale and enjoy their lives and their prosperity as I had been fortunate to do. Um, so all the things that I'm sharing with you, I created all my own processes, and I've used these and developed these and honed these to grow my business from scratch to over $4 million in almost $4 million in sales in the first couple of years. So it created a lot of jobs for people. We did really great quality work, and I created a really nice lifestyle for my family along the way. So I've been a CEO. Not only do I just know how to help other people, and I love doing that, but I've been a CEO. I made payroll for over 20 years. So if that's part of what you're doing, I appreciate how hard that can be. I didn't always get a check, but my people never didn't. I always made payroll. So I'm also a father of two teenage kids. I've been married for 24 years. Been in living in Cheshire, Connecticut since 1993. A member of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce in my area here. I'm on their Small Business Council Steering Committee. A graduate of Leadership Cheshire, which was a chamber program in the Cheshire Chamber of Commerce, and was past president of Copper Valley Tennis. I'm going to delete that. I've also been a mindfulness practitioner since 1983. I got my first uh, technique was transcendental meditation, and then I've worked with some other traditions along the way. But I'm also a facilitator of trips and a traveler to the sacred pyramids in Mexico, in Teotihuacan. I've been doing that since 2001. Um, and I've been teaching mindfulness and meditation since that time in 2001 as well. So what I'd like you to do now is take out that leaving it on the table worksheet. This is really the core of this little workshop. So again, if you haven't done it yet, please pause this and print this out. And what I want you to do is take the baseline numbers, if you put those together, and if you haven't, we're going to do that right now. Fill in the top row, the number of opportunities, the number of proposals, the number that you put out there. And then that's the number of leads and opportunities. And the second one is the closing percentage, how many of those you close. So that those two together is going to give you the number of new clients. And then come up with your best number for profit per sale. And I'll give you a way to back into that. If you look at what you take home in a year and divide that by the number of clients you get in a year, This is, we're not talking about renewal business like insurance. That's a different model, and we can talk about that. But for this model, we're talking about new kind of project, engagements. It could be new closings for real estate attorneys. It could be, projects for construction, or whatever you're doing. So take the total that you make in a year divided by the number of clients you get in a year, and that's your average profit per sale. What goes in your pocket. You multiply those three together, that gets your total profit. Now, so starting with how many proposals you do in a year. If you had like really good partner programs like we talked about, where you got other companies promoting you, and you had a really good referral program in place so that you're asking clients all the time for referrals, and you're earning their referrals, and you're getting their introductions. If everything else stayed the same, how many extra proposals do you think you could do in a year? So put that number in the year number one, or row number one. That's the big number one. How many extra proposals? So including the ones that you start with. Let's go back again. So this is the extra proposal. So let's say you're doing 100 and you think you could do 10 or 20 more. Pick a number that seems reasonable for you, but that would be exciting as well. And that's what goes inside box number one on your worksheet. Now we're going to leave the other factors the same. The conversion rate we're going to keep the same. The average dollars per project, we're going to keep that the same. And when you multiply across the row, that's the extra money you could be earning by having better systems to bring in better quantity and quality of leads. Now, if you had a better orientation and the design and delivery of how you teach your clients how to work with you, and you talked about your expert positioning, and you had a really great sequence of process steps, you just told a much better story about your business and how you care for clients, and you had stronger warranties and stronger guarantees with all those, and maybe some financing alternatives. Instead of it's $50,000, well, it's $400 a month. So could you improve your closing percentage? Could you do a bit better? If you close 3 out of 10, could you close 4 out of 10? So go back to your worksheet and add in the new closing rate, and we'll factor in the same number of proposals as your baseline year and the same average sale. So all we're doing here is changing your closing percentage, and we multiply that across, and that's another level of extra income that you can get by working on that component. So now imagine that you had extended warranties or some bundles and financing, or you raise your rates. A lot of people can raise their rates without losing any business, especially when you have more confidence that it's like, yeah, I really am an expert in this. Sometimes you can offer additional products or services, maybe a longer, instead of 1 month supply, you sell a 3 or a 6 month supply, or you have other products and other services from other vendors that you can ask your customers, say, hey, if you like my stuff, you'll love this stuff, and you can make some extra money on that. So could you make a little bit of extra money selling somebody else's products and services along with what you're already doing? And most people can do it. Most people can do it pretty easily. So what would that add? How much could you increase your average profit per sale? Could it be 10%, 15, 20%? So put that number in there, and we're going to do the math for that one. And remember that you're offering more value, more product, more service along a warranty. We're not just necessarily looking to raise rates, although sometimes you can just simply charge more if you really are differentiating yourself from your competition. So we put it all together, we add up those 3 things, and that's the amount of money that you're potentially leaving on the table. Now, if that's what you could earn in 1 year by having some of these systems in place, imagine what it would look like over 10 years or longer. We're talking a lot of money. So how do you get to those extra earnings? Well, I've got a program called Close More Sales. and it's a 6-month business growth foundations program. And in that program, we're going to work through all these things. And of course, I've got additional work for my clients who've gone through that foundational program. I always offer a couple options to people. I have a coaching option and I have a done for you option. Now, what happens in both of them? Either way you go, we have two 90-minute calls, core calls per month. So that means we're getting together every couple of weeks. We're spending time going through, developing, just talking about your business, developing these concepts and helping you integrate these into your business. In addition to that, I offer other communication in between calls. I'm going to be sharing with you models and tools and templates and other video training that supports and reinforces what we're talking about in our core calls. I also offer extra as needed calls. So let's say we just had a call yesterday, was one of our core calls, and our next call isn't for a couple weeks, but you're working on a presentation or you got a big sale or proposal you're working on, you call me if you have a question or you're trying to figure out how to implement something or you're just wondering about a new approach, just call me. So I like when my clients call me in between our core sessions. I also offer unlimited back and forth. If we're developing stuff and you're working on a script or I'm working on a script or you're working on a trifold or we're working on a presentation, we just kick it back and forth until you're really happy with it. So that core bundle of services, that's how I work with all my clients, whether it's in the coaching option or the done for you option. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So in addition to those ways that I'm available, we're going to be developing your referral language and creating printed referral tools that you give to your clients that they can give to people. We're going to be developing your memorandum of understanding, working on your terms and conditions. We're going to be reviewing your pricing models, developing your process sequence for your orientations and your proposals. We're going to be creating your testimonial interview. That's how you get all the referrals and the testimonials and great feedback for your company. We're also going to be setting up partner presentations and approaches so you'll get that leverage of having companies that'll put you in front of all their customers and introduce you that way. And we can also do things like developing trifolds. There's other optional tools that we can develop on top of the core things. So there's a lot of other things we can do together. Now, in addition to those things, we're going to help you work with, really reconnect with the business impact that you want to be giving. Why you got into this business. For some of us, that's something we haven't thought about for a long time. But what's the deeper level of business impact? We're going to help, think through your ideal clients. We're going to come up with, really good descriptions of who your best clients are in different niches and different markets. We're going to improve your orientation and proposal language and your presentation skills. We're going to teach you how to do this partner model so you can do it again and again and again. Now, again, another also in both options, you get a 6-week interactive video training program that has a lot of this content and downloads and material to help you really master this material. And it's got exercises and worksheets that really help you dig into the process and customize it. That's a $4,800 program all by itself. That's a bonus. So the coaching option, you do the majority of the creating and the writing, and I help you edit it and review it and touch it up. In the done for you option, I do the majority of the work and the writing and the stuff, and you kind of review it. So this really depends if you have the time to do some of this creative work, or if you think your time is more valuable, out generating new business and building your company, working with your team. So you have to ask yourself if you have the time and the interest in really working on some of this material yourself, or you'd be more likely to have someone like me do it for you. So I want to talk about my memorandum of understanding, my MOU. Did you think I wouldn't have one? So part 1, here's all the ways we work together. Part 2, I'll send you that if we get there. So I want to let you know I'm offering a 100% money back guarantee. So what that means is we get if we have a conversation and you agree that this makes a lot of sense for you, we get started, but you have a 30-day free test drive. If you're not fully satisfied with the program, then you can request a full refund within 30 days and keep whatever work we've done. And additionally, you get the 6-week video training as a gift. Again, that's almost a $5,000 value. Now, anytime after 30 days, you can suspend the program at any time. Probably want to lose that. And then additionally, after at day 33, you're going to get the Power Partner Online Program. That's another $997 value. You get the 6-week online foundational course we talked about. You get 2 complimentary tickets to all my public and private events. That's priceless. You get, for people that are have been with me for like at least 90 days, you're going to get a ticket to my next pyramid trip. It's in Mexico in the fall. It's a $1,500 value. You're going to be my guest. You just got to buy your airline ticket, and that's all inclusive, all the meals, transfers to and from. Just you don't really have to bring any money unless you want to buy some gifts for people back home. So here's another client. As you're kind of considering this, here's another client that was skeptical about how I could help them. We started working together on the referral systems, the partner marketing, going back to past clients. And he says he has no doubt that their office is doing a lot more business. They're doing 50 to 100% more business consistently from the work that I brought to him and his team. In addition to just the raw sales improvement and the financial improvement, this Luke, who I helped him grow his business, felt that I really took him out of his comfort zone and helped him create a more mature presence in his business. How valuable is that if you're building a company?